Women rarely say it out loud, especially at the beginning, but when she's developing real feelings for you, her actions will speak long before her words do. And what's fascinating is that this emotional language she expresses is often quiet, not dramatic. It's in the way her presence begins to shift in your life in ways even she might not be fully conscious of noticing. No, it's not always grand gestures or movie-style confessions. It's in the subtle shifts, the quiet moments, the unconscious signs. She might not even realize. She's showing because women are naturally more attuned to the emotional undercurrent of connection. And when she's falling for you, it's not just about the romantic gestures, it's about the internal transformation. That's quietly unfolding beneath the surface of your interactions. Today we'll uncover the key behaviors. A woman shows when her emotions are growing deeper, and all of this is backed by emotional psychology and Carl Jung's timeless insights into connection, intimacy, and human nature, the way our inner selves yearn for closeness and expression, even when our logical minds are still catching up to what our hearts are already beginning to feel. Let's begin with sin 1. She becomes more present in the moment with you, and you'll notice this right away because presence is powerful. When a woman is emotionally neutral, she may seem distracted, guarded, or politely distant, but when feelings begin to form, her attention deepens in a way that's hard to ignore. She's not just hearing you, she's listening with her whole emotional awareness. Not just responding, but actually feeling the space between your words, like she's attuned to your emotional landscape. Carl Jung believed that intimacy is built through presence, through the shared moment, and when she begins choosing depth over distraction. It's not accidental, it's emotional investment. It's a form of psychological anchoring, where your presence becomes emotionally regulating for her, and she instinctively seeks more of it without even thinking consciously about it. Sign 2. She asks about the small stuff and remembers it. And this is incredibly revealing. When a woman is developing feelings, her curiosity becomes personal and layered. She doesn't just ask what you do for work or where you grew up. She remembers your favorite childhood snack, the movie that made you cry, the name of your first pet, even the tiniest details you mentioned in passing become meaningful to her because she's forming an emotional map of who you are and how you make her feel. This is emotional imprinting, and it's powerful because you're no longer just someone in her life. You're becoming part of her internal world and emotional reference point. She doesn't need to write it down because feelings sharpen memory. This is what Jung called affect-laden experience, when emotion turns a moment into meaning. And that meaning becomes deeply tied to the identity of who she is becoming in your presence. Sign 3. She mirrors your energy without realizing it, and this sign is often so subtle that most people miss it. You smile, she softens. You speak slower, her tone lowers. You sit back, so does she. And it's not mimicry, it's resonance. This isn't game playing or manipulation, it's unconscious alignment. Her body and mind are syncing with yours in a way that reveals her emotional safety with you and her. Growing attraction in Jungian psychology. This is the dance between anima and animus, the feminine and masculine energies synchronizing in real time. Her nervous system is beginning to attune to yours, which is a form of emotional entrainment, and it's a subtle but powerful sign of emerging emotional resonance that speaks louder than words or declarations because it happens beneath the surface. Sign 4. She shares vulnerabilities she doesn't share with others, and this is where emotional risk meets emotional trust. A woman developing feelings will open emotional doors, quietly, cautiously, but sincerely, and she might tell you about a difficult moment, an insecurity, a childhood fear, or a past heartbreak, not because she wants sympathy, but because she trusts you enough to let you see her emotional edges. She's not looking for validation, she's searching for recognition. Jung wrote that the soul reveals itself not in confidence, but in vulnerability, and in this space, she's testing the emotional safety of your connection. She's letting you into a part of her that most don't get to see, and if you handle it with care, you deepen the bond in ways that logic can't touch. Sign 5. She initiates contact even in subtle ways, and this is it's one of the clearest behavioral signs of deepening emotional interest. It doesn't always mean grand gestures or chasing. It could be a text just to say hi, an inside joke she sends you, or asking how your day went consistently and warmly. When a woman's feelings grow, her impulse to reach out increases, not to dominate the conversation, but to stay emotionally connected. Emotion creates the need for closeness, and proximity is how humans reinforce emotional bonds. If she keeps finding reasons to be near your orbit, even digitally, she's developing something deeper. And her psyche is instinctively moving toward what brings her emotional warmth and security, which in this case is you. Sign 6, she begins letting her guard down physically. And here's where body language becomes the hidden messenger, because body language never lies. A woman developing feelings might stand a little closer, laugh more, freely brush against your arm in passing, and these gestures are never forced. They are instinctual responses to emotional safety. The body opens when the heart feels safe, and Carl Jung believed the unconscious shows up through symbols and gestures, and in this case, her body is communicating what her words haven't yet caught up to. And that is trust, affection, and emotional openness. Sign 7, she imagines a future with you, even in passing comments. And this is not always direct. She might joke about a trip you could take one day, or say, "You'd make a great dad," without thinking, or ask where you see yourself in 5 years, and actually care about the answer. And these aren't random statements. They're emotional projections that reveal her subconscious vision forming around your presence in her life. Her mind is starting to include you in her future landscape, and Carl Jung noted that love naturally seeks integration. When she starts weaving you into her imagined life, even slightly, something significant is forming, and her unconscious mind is creating a story in which you are a meaningful part of what's to come. Bonus: since she becomes slightly nervous around you, and yes, it may seem strange at first because you'd think she'd become more relaxed, but when feelings grow, so does the fear of loss, and you may notice her overthinking a text, fixing her hair before seeing you, laughing a bit too hard, or hesitating before saying something important. And these are signs of emotional weight. You matter, and when someone matters, we become just a little more careful, a little more exposed, a little more tender. Jung said where love rules, there is no will to power. In her softening, she's not trying to control anything, she's simply letting herself feel. And that surrender to vulnerability is one of the purest signs that love may be taking root. So if you've noticed these behaviors, don't dismiss them, because real feelings rarely come with fireworks. They arrive in quiet shifts, in shared silences, in the way her eyes linger when you're not looking, and in the pauses where words seem too small to hold what she's actually feeling. And if you feel something too, don't wait for her to say it first. Meet her in the middle, emotionally, authentically, courageously, because feelings unspoken can fade, but feelings honored, they grow, they evolve, they build, and they transform ordinary connections into life-changing bonds. If you resonated with this, let me know in the comments. Have you seen these signs in someone recently? And don't forget to subscribe for more Jungian insights into relationships, psychology, and the unconscious dynamics that shape how we connect, because love is more than emotion. It's the bridge between our unseen selves and our most vulnerable truths.